The rain slammed against the diner's windows, a relentless drumbeat that drowned out the world. I sat alone in the booth, my coffee cold, staring at the smudged name on my wrist. Clara. My best friend's sister had kissed me last night, and now my heart was a battlefield of guilt and wildfire desire. My name is Evelyn Harper, 24, a graphic designer scraping by in the sleepy town of Willow Creek, Oregon. I'd known Clara Bennett since we were kids, back when she was just my best friend Mia's older sister. Untouchable, enigmatic, always out of reach. Clara, 26, was the kind of woman who walked into a room and made the air shift. Her short, jet-black hair and piercing blue eyes carried a storm of their own, and last night, when Mia left us alone in their family's creaky old house, Clara's lips found mine in a moment that shattered everything I thought I knew about myself. It was supposed to be a normal Friday. Mia and I had planned a movie night, but she got called into her late shift at the hospital. "You and Clara can hang out," Mia had said, oblivious to the way my pulse spiked at the mention of her sister's name. Clara had been back in town for just a month, fresh from some mysterious stint in Seattle, and every time she was near, I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff. That night, as the rain poured outside, we sat on the Bennett family's worn leather couch, a bottle of cheap wine between us. The air was thick with the scent of old books and cedar, and Clara's laugh, low, unguarded, made my chest ache. "You ever think about running away, Evie?" she'd asked, her voice soft but sharp, like a blade wrapped in velvet. She leaned closer, her knee brushing mine. I froze, my breath catching as her gaze locked onto me, searching, daring. Before I could answer, her lips were on mine, urgent, warm, tasting faintly of wine and rebellion. It wasn't just a kiss, it was a confession, a collision, a spark that lit a fire I didn't know I'd been carrying. Now in the diner I traced the rim of my mug, my mind replaying every second. I wasn't supposed to feel this way. Mia was my best friend, my anchor since we were 10, braiding each other's hair and sharing secrets under the stars. Clara was her sister, the one who'd always been too cool, too distant, too dangerous. Kissing her felt like betraying Mia. Yet my heart screamed that it was the truest thing I'd ever done. The bell above the diner door chimed, and there she was, Clara, striding in like she owned the place, her leather jacket glistening with rain. My stomach flipped as she slid into the booth across from me, her eyes unreadable. "You didn't text me back," she said, her voice low, almost accusing. I opened my mouth but no words came. How could I explain the war inside me? The fear of what this meant, the thrill of wanting more? I didn't know what to say. I admitted finally, my voice barely above a whisper. "Mia's my best friend, Clara. This is complicated." Her jaw tightened but her eyes softened, like she understood the weight of what we'd done. "I know," she said. "But last night wasn't a mistake, Evie. Not for me." The words hung between us, heavy and electric. I wanted to reach across the table, to pull her close and feel that spark again, but doubt clawed at me. What if Mia found out? What if this broke everything? Willow Creek wasn't exactly a haven for women like us. Small towns talk and they judge. I'd seen the way people whispered about Sarah and Lena, the only out lesbian couple in town, until they left for Portland last year. Could I handle that kind of scrutiny? Could Clara? She reached for my hand, her fingers warm against my cold ones. "I'm not asking you to have all the answers," she said. "But I'm not running from this. Are you?" I stared at her, my heart pounding. The rain outside seemed to slow, as if the world was holding its breath. I didn't know if I was ready to leap, but I knew I couldn't walk away. Not yet. That night I lay awake in my tiny apartment, the memory of Clara's touch burning under my skin. I'd always thought I knew who I was, Evelyn, the dependable friend, the artist who dreamed of bigger things but stayed rooted in Willow Creek. I'd dated guys before, safe and predictable, but none of them ever made my heart race like Clara did. Was this who I'd always been? Or was Clara unraveling something new? The next morning I met Mia at our usual spot by the river, a grassy bank where we'd spent countless summers. She was in her scrubs, her auburn hair pulled into a messy bun, her smile as warm as ever. "You okay, Evie?" she asked, tossing a pebble into the water. "You've been weird since movie night." Guilt twisted in my gut. I wanted to tell her everything, to spill the truth about Clara and me, but the words stuck in my throat. "Just tired." I lied, hating myself for it. Mia didn't push, but her eyes lingered on me like she sensed something was off. As we walked back to town, my phone buzzed. A text from Clara. Meet me at the old barn tonight. 8 p.m. We need to talk. My heart lurched. The abandoned barn on the edge of town was our childhood hideout, a place where secrets felt safe. But now it felt like stepping into the unknown. At 8 p.m. the barn loomed in the moonlight, its weathered wood silvered by the night. Clara was already there, leaning against the doorframe, a cigarette glowing between her fingers. She didn't smoke often, but when she did, it was a sign she was nervous. You came, she said, exhaling a cloud of smoke. Of course I did, I replied, my voice steadier than I felt. I stepped closer, the scent of tobacco in her leather jacket mixing with the crisp autumn air. What is this, Clara? What are we doing? She flicked the cigarette away, her eyes locking onto mine. I've been running from who I am for years, Evie. Seattle, Portland, all those places. I thought I could outrun it. But then I came back and I saw you, really saw you, and she paused, her voice breaking. I'm tired of hiding. Her words hit me like a tidal wave. I thought of all the times I'd caught her staring at me over the years, the way her teasing had always carried an edge of something deeper. Had she been hiding this all along? Had I? Before I could speak, she closed the distance between us, her hands framing my face. I don't know what this means for us, she whispered. But I know I want you. All of you. This time when she kissed me, I didn't hesitate. I kissed her back, fierce and desperate, as if I could pour all my confusion and longing into that single moment. The world fell away, the barn, the town, the fear of what came next. There was only Clara, her warmth, her truth. But as we pulled apart, breathless, a shadow moved in the doorway. My heart stopped. Mia stood there, her face pale, her eyes wide with shock. Evie, she whispered, her voice trembling. Clara? What the hell is going on? The air in the barn turned to ice. Mia's voice cut through the silence, sharp and raw, her eyes darting between Clara and me. I stood frozen, my lips still tingling from Clara's kiss, my heart pounding so loud I thought it might burst. Mia, I started, but my voice cracked, useless. Clara stepped forward. Her hands raised like she was trying to calm a startled animal. Mia, listen, Clara said, her tone steady but laced with urgency. This isn't what you think. Not what I think. Mia's voice rose, her auburn hair catching the moonlight as she stepped into the barn. I saw you, Clara. I saw you kissing my best friend. Her words were a slap, and I flinched, guilt crashing over me like a wave. Mia's eyes locked onto mine, and the betrayal in them gutted me. Evie, how could you? You're my sister. She spat at Clara, then turned to me. And you're supposed to be my best friend. I wanted to sink into the earth, to disappear under the weight of her hurt. Mia, I'm so sorry, I whispered, tears stinging my eyes. It just happened. Just happened. Mia laughed, a bitter, broken sound. You don't just happen to kiss my sister, Evie. You don't just happen to lie to me. She turned to Clara, her fists clenched. And you knew how much Evie means to me. How could you do this? Clara's face was a mask of pain, but she didn't back down. I didn't mean to hurt you, Mia. I swear. But I've been carrying this for years and She glanced at me, her blue eyes fierce with something I couldn't name. I love her, Mia. I've loved her for a long time. The words hit me harder than Mia's anger. Love. Clara loved me. My chest tightened, a mix of joy and terror swirling inside me. But Mia's face crumpled and she shook her head, backing away. I can't do this, she said, her voice barely audible. I can't. She turned and ran into the night, the barn door slamming behind her. I started after her, but Clara grabbed my arm. Let her go, Evie. She needs time. Time. I yanked my arm free, my voice shaking. She's my best friend, Clara. I just broke her heart. Tears spilled down my cheeks, and I hated how much I wanted to collapse into Clara's arms. Even now. What are we supposed to do? Pretend this didn't happen? Go back to how things were? Clara's jaw tightened, but her eyes were soft, pleading. I don't want to go back. I can't. Not after this. She stepped closer, her voice low. But I know what Mia means to you. If you want to walk away from this, from us, I'll let you. But I need you to know I meant every word. I love you, Evelyn. I stared at her, my heart tearing in two. Part of me wanted to run after Mia, to beg for forgiveness, to salvage the friendship that had defined my life. But another part, the part that burned when Clara looked at me, wanted to stay to fight for whatever this was. I didn't know how to choose. The next few days were a blur of silence. Mia didn't answer my texts or calls. I stopped by her house, but her mom said she was out. Her tone clipped, like she knew something was wrong. Willow Creek felt smaller than ever, its quiet streets suffocating me with whispers and sideways glances. I wondered if Mia had told anyone, if the town was already spinning stories about us. Clara didn't push me, but her presence was everywhere. A text here, a fleeting glance when I saw her at the grocery store, her leather jacket slung over her shoulder like a shield. Each time my heart raced, and I hated how much I wanted to see her again, to feel her lips on mine. But guilt was a constant shadow, gnawing at me every time I thought of Mia's face in the barn. One evening I found myself at the diner again, nursing a soda and sketching aimlessly in my notebook. The door chimed and I looked up to see Sarah, one half of the lesbian couple who'd left Willow Creek last year. She was back in town for a visit, her warm brown eyes crinkling as she slid into my booth. "Heard you've been stirring up trouble," she said, her voice teasing but kind. I froze, my pencil hovering over the page. Sarah laughed softly. "Relax, Evie. Small towns talk, but they don't always listen. You and Clara, huh?" I swallowed hard, my cheeks burning. "It's complicated." "It always is," Sarah said, leaning back. "When Lena and I got together, people acted like we'd set the town on fire. But love's worth it, Evie. Even when it's messy. Especially when it's messy." Her words lingered as I walked home that night, the stars bright above Willow Creek. Love. Was that what this was? I thought of Clara's confession, the way her voice had trembled when she said she loved me. I thought of Mia, my best friend, who deserved better than secrets and betrayal. I didn't know how to fix this, but I knew I couldn't keep running from it. The next day, I drove to the hospital where Mia worked. I waited in the parking lot, my heart in my throat, until she emerged from her shift, her scrubs wrinkled, her face tired. She stopped when she saw me, her expression unreadable. "Evie," she said, her voice flat. "What do you want?" "I want to talk," I said, stepping closer. "Please, Mia. I need you to hear me." She crossed her arms, her eyes guarded, but she didn't walk away. I took a deep breath, the words spilling out before I could stop them. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't even know I felt this way about Clara until it happened. But I can't change it, Mia. I'm falling for her. And I'm so sorry for how this happened. But I need you to know I still love you. You're my best friend." Mia's eyes glistened, and for a moment I thought she'd walk away. But then she sighed, her shoulders slumping. "I don't know how to do this, Evie," she said. "You and Clara, it's a lot. But I don't want to lose you either." Hope flickered in my chest, fragile but real. "Can we try?" I asked. "To figure this out?" She nodded just once, and it was enough. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a start. The weeks that followed were a tightrope walk. Mia and I were trying. Awkward coffee dates, stilted conversations about work and weather, anything to avoid the elephant in the room. But every time I saw Clara, the world tilted, and I was reminded of what I was fighting for. Clara and I met in secret, stolen moments that felt like oxygen after holding my breath too long. A late-night drive to the lake, where we sat on the hood of her car, her hand in mine as we watched the stars. A quiet afternoon in my apartment, sketching while she played her guitar, her voice low and haunting. Each moment was a rebellion against the fear that clung to me, the fear of losing Mia, of Willow Creek's judgment, of what it meant to love a woman in a town that didn't always understand. One night we sat in the park, the same one where we'd kissed that first time. Clara's head rested on my shoulder, her breath warm against my neck. "What are we doing, Evie?" she asked, her voice soft but heavy. "Sneaking around like this, it's not enough. I want more. I want us." I swallowed hard, my heart racing. "I want that too," I said. "But Mia's still hurting. And this town, you know how it is." Clara pulled back, her blue eyes fierce. "I know. I've lived it. But I'm done hiding who I am. I did that for too long and it nearly broke me." She took my hand, her grip firm. "I want to be with you, out in the open. No more secrets." Her words thrilled and terrified me. I imagined walking through Willow Creek hand in hand, the whispers, the stares. But I also imagined waking up next to her, building a life together, unafraid. I need time, I said finally, to figure out how to do this right. Clara nodded, but I saw the flicker of disappointment in her eyes. I'll wait, she said. But not forever. The next day I found Mia at the river again, skipping stones like we used to as kids. I joined her, the silence between us softer now, less jagged. You're different, she said suddenly, not looking at me. Happier, maybe. Is it because of her? I hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, Clara, she makes me feel things I didn't know I could. Mia tossed another stone, watching it skip across the water. I'm trying to understand, Evie. It's hard, but I'm trying. I need to know you're not going to disappear on me. I'm not, I said, my voice fierce. You're my family, Mia. That's never going to change. She looked at me then, her eyes searching. Okay, she said finally. But you need to tell her to stop sneaking around. If you're going to do this, do it for real. Her words stayed with me as I drove to Clara's place that night. She lived in a small rental on the edge of town, a cozy space filled with vinyl records and half-finished paintings. When I told her what Mia said, her face lit up, hope sparking in her eyes. So what do you say, Evie? She asked, stepping closer. Are we doing this? For real? I took a deep breath, the weight of the decision settling over me. Yes, I said, my voice steady. I'm in. Clara's smile was brighter than the stars, and when she kissed me it felt like a promise. But the next morning reality crashed in. I woke to a text from Mia. Check the town forum. Now. My stomach dropped as I opened the link. Someone had posted a blurry photo of Clara and me at the park, our hands entwined, with a caption. Willow Creek's latest scandal? The comments were a mix of support and venom. Some called us brave. Others called us sinners. My hands shook as I scrolled, the weight of the town's judgment pressing down on me. Clara found me curled up on my couch, my phone abandoned on the floor. Hey, she said, sitting beside me. We knew this might happen. I didn't think it'd feel like this, I admitted, my voice small. What if they hate us? What if this ruins everything? Clara took my face in her hands, her eyes fierce. Let them talk. They don't get to decide who we are. We do. Her strength anchored me, but the fear didn't vanish. That night, I went to Mia's house, needing to know where we stood. She opened the door, her expression unreadable. I saw the forum, she said. You okay? I shook my head, tears welling up. I don't know how to do this, Mia. I love her, but I'm scared. Mia sighed, pulling me into a hug. You don't have to do it alone, she said. I'm still here, Evie. I'm still your friend. Her words were a lifeline, pulling me back from the edge. But as I left her house, I knew the hardest part was still ahead. Clara and I were out now, whether we wanted to be or not. And Willow Creek was watching. The town forum post was like a match dropped in dry grass. By the next day, Willow Creek was buzzing. At the coffee shop, I overheard whispers about those girls as I grabbed my latte. At work, my boss gave me a long, unreadable look before asking me to keep personal matters private. Clara took it in stride, her chin held high, but I felt like I was unraveling. We decided to face it head-on. Clara suggested a public date. Dinner at Rosie's, the town's only decent restaurant. Let them see us, she said, her voice defiant. Let them get used to it. I agreed, but my stomach churned as we walked in hand, the room falling silent for a split second before the chatter resumed. We sat in a corner booth, the candlelight flickering between us. Clara looked beautiful, her black hair catching the glow. Her smile soft but fierce. You're doing great, she whispered, squeezing my hand. I tried to smile back, but my eyes kept darting to the other tables, catching curious glances and one outright glare from an older couple. Halfway through dinner, Sarah and Lena walked in, their presence like a burst of sunlight. They joined us, their laughter loud and unapologetic, drawing stares but also smiles. You're stirring things up, Lena said, grinning. Good. This town needs it. Their support gave me courage, but it didn't erase the tension. As we left Rosie's, a man outside muttered something under his breath. Clara's grip on my hand tightened, but she didn't respond. I wanted to be as strong as her, but fear clung to me like damp clothes. The next week, things escalated. Someone slashed the tires on Clara's car, leaving a note. Leave. I found her in her driveway, staring at the damage, her face pale but her eyes blazing. "They think they can scare us," she said, crumpling the note. "They're wrong." I wanted to believe her, but doubt crept in. Was this worth it? The hate, the judgment, the risk of losing everything? I thought of Mia, who was trying so hard to support us, and of my parents who still didn't know. I hadn't told them yet, afraid of their disappointment, their confusion. Clara sensed my hesitation and pulled me close, her voice soft. "We're stronger than this, Evie. Together." Her words carried me through the next few days, but the pressure kept building. At work, a coworker left a Bible verse on my desk, underlined in red, Leviticus 18 verse 22. I threw it away, my hands shaking, but it felt like a warning. Clara and I started getting anonymous texts, some cruel, some pleading with us to repent. Willow Creek was splitting, and we were at the center of the storm. One night, Clara convinced me to go to a local open mic night at the community center. "Let's show them we're not hiding," she said. I was terrified, but I went, clutching my sketchbook like a shield. Clara performed a song she'd written, her voice raw and powerful, the lyrics about love and freedom and fighting for both. The room was silent when she finished, then erupted in applause, mixed with a few boos. My heart swelled with pride but also fear. She was so fearless, so sure. Could I ever be that brave? After the performance, we stepped outside, the night air cool against my flushed skin. A group of teenagers stood nearby, whispering and pointing. One of them, a kid I recognized from the diner, shouted, "Freaks!" before running off. Clara laughed it off, but I saw the hurt in her eyes. At home I broke down, tears streaming as I sat on my couch. Clara knelt in front of me, her hands on my knees. "Talk to me, Evie," she said. "What's going on in that head of yours?" "I'm scared," I admitted, my voice breaking. "I love you, Clara, but it's so hard. What if we can't do this? What if it's too much?" She took my hands, her grip steady. "It's not too much. Not if we're together. I know it's hard, but we're building something real. Something worth fighting for." I looked into her eyes, seeing the strength I wanted to find in myself. "I don't want to lose you," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "You won't," she promised, pulling me into her arms. "We're in this, Evie. All the way." The next day I made a decision. I drove to my parents' house, my heart pounding as I sat them down. "I need to tell you something," I said, my voice trembling. "I'm in love with Clara, Mia's sister. We're together." My mom's eyes widened and my dad looked away, his jaw tight. The silence was suffocating, but then my mom reached for my hand. "We love you, Evelyn," she said softly. "This is new, but we'll figure it out." It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. As I left their house, I felt lighter, like I'd shed a weight I'd been carrying for too long. Clara was waiting for me at the park, her smile brighter than the sun. "How'd it go?" she asked. "They didn't disown me," I said, laughing through tears. "That's something, right?" "It's everything," she said, pulling me close. For the first time, I believed we could do this. Together. Spring came to Willow Creek, and with it a fragile sense of hope. Clara and I were no longer a secret, and though the town hadn't fully embraced us, the whispers were quieter now, the stares less sharp. Mia was coming around slowly but surely. We'd started having movie nights again, just the three of us, and though it wasn't the same, it was something new, something healing. One afternoon, Clara and I sat by the lake, the water shimmering under the April sun. She was sketching in my notebook, her brow furrowed in concentration. I watched her, my heart full. "What are you drawing?" I asked, leaning closer. "You," she said, turning the page to show me a sketch of my face, my eyes bright with a smile I hadn't realized I'd been wearing. "This is how I see you, Evie. Always." I kissed her, soft and slow, unafraid of who might see. We'd faced the worst: hate, fear, judgment, and we were still here, stronger for it. But the journey wasn't over. There were still moments of doubt, nights when I wondered if we'd made the right choice. But then Clara would take my hand, or Mia would crack a joke, and I'd remember why we'd fought so hard. One evening, Sarah and Lena invited us to a small gathering at their new place in Portland. It was a 3-hour drive, but Clara insisted we go. "We need this," she said. "A night to just be us." The house was warm and crowded, filled with people who didn't bat an eye at our clasped hands or stolen kisses. For the first time I felt like I belonged, like I could breathe without looking over my shoulder. Sarah pulled me aside as Clara laughed with Lena across the room. "You're doing good, kid," she said, her eyes kind. "You and Clara. You're making a difference, even if it doesn't always feel like it." Her words stayed with me as we drove back to Willow Creek, the stars stretching endlessly above us. I thought about the town, about Mia, about my parents who were trying to understand. I thought about Clara, who'd never wavered, even when I had. And I thought about myself, the woman I was becoming, braver, truer, more alive than I'd ever been. Back in town, we faced one final hurdle. The local church was holding a community meeting, and someone had proposed a family values initiative that felt like a direct jab at us. Clara wanted to go to speak out, but I hesitated. What if it makes things worse? I asked. Then we make them worse, she said, her eyes fierce. But we don't hide. So we went, hand in hand, standing at the back of the crowded room. When the pastor opened the floor, Clara stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. "Love isn't a threat," she said. "It's not a sin. It's what makes us human. Evelyn and we're not here to hurt anyone. We're here to live just like you." The room was silent, then a few people clapped, tentative at first, then louder. Not everyone agreed, but it was enough. A crack in the wall, a step toward change. As we left the meeting, Mia was waiting outside, her smile hesitant but real. "You guys were amazing," she said, pulling us both into a hug. "I'm proud of you." Tears stung my eyes as I hugged her back. This was it, the family we'd fought for, the love we'd built. Clara squeezed my hand, her eyes shining with the same hope I felt. That night we lay in my bed, the moonlight streaming through the window. "We did it," I whispered, my head on her chest. "We're doing it," she corrected, kissing my forehead. "Every day." And she was right. This wasn't the end of our story, but a beginning. A messy, beautiful beginning of a life we'd chosen together. Willow Creek wasn't perfect, and neither were we, but we were here, loving fiercely, living bravely. And that was enough.